This is the Iowa Weather Report for Sunday, July 12th, 2015. And now our first look at the Zero-Z GFS model run at 1 p.m. this afternoon. You can see a ridge over the Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico area, but we're still on the northern end of that at this point, with a couple of systems moving across the Great Lakes and another to our north and west as well. And that's going to be bringing us some interesting weather as we move through the afternoon and especially into the evening with some showers and thunderstorms possible. But most of the day is going to be fairly dry. Highs today 80s in the north and eastern counties to the low and mid 90s in the southwest, where there is a heat advisory in effect. Then late tonight and into tomorrow morning, we'll have some showers and thunderstorms, mainly over our northeastern third of the state. The rest of the state should remain fairly dry. Highs on Monday will be in the upper 80s to mid to upper 90s again. And then as we go into the middle of the work week, you can say Tuesday is still going to be somewhat warm, 80s and 90s possible, with maybe a little bit of precipitation, mainly in our northeastern counties, mainly during the overnight and into the morning hours. You can see as we move here into Wednesday, the GFS is bringing a little bit of precipitation into our northwestern counties. We'll see if that continues in future runs. Otherwise, readings still in the 80s to lower 90s, maybe middle 90s in some areas. As we move into Thursday, that disturbance over the western counties will move across the state, mainly during the overnight hours, although we can't rule out anything during the rest of the day, with readings still roughly in the 80s to lower 90s for the most part across the area. As we move toward the end of the week, we still see a little bit of precipitation around. It looks to be mainly overnight for most of the week, except for tonight or today or later today through Monday. So we'll see if this continues or not. As we move here to Saturday, the next weekend, you can see a disturbance moving across the state from the north and west. And that could bring us some more showers and storms, although the timing of this still is up in the air, so we'll see if that continues. As we move to a week from today, at the upper levels, or at the 500 millibar level, still see the ridge over the central and southern plains, trough over the east, and a bit of a trough over the north and west with some upper level features out there. And with that, you can see some showers and storms developing pretty much during the afternoon hours out in the west. Still have a frontal type system dangling over the area with a high pressure to our north and east and the hot weather to the south and west that still could trigger a shower or thunderstorm around. As we go into the extended period, around the 23rd or so, you can still see that ridge to our south. It's a little bit more broadened out across the south and even into the south and east. We still have disturbances as we're still on the northern fringe of this, and you can still see some showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible once again in the area especially. But still, again, timing is still a bit off and could still change. Readings look to still be fairly warm in the 80s to around 90. The end of the forecast around the 27th. Still see that ridge over the southern plains back into the south and west. Main storm track along the northern tier of the country and down into the mid-Atlantic states, where there is a bit of a weakness between that and the Bermuda high off in the Atlantic. And there could be some showers and storms along the eastern seaboard, and still some showers and storms possible around here as well. But they'll be hit and miss. And readings look to stay fairly close to seasonal averages for mid to late July, with readings mainly in the 80s. Satellite image from last evening, you can see a complex of showers and storms over the Midwest, mainly in Illinois and into Indiana. Some off the Carolina coast, some over New Mexico, and some off in the Canadian Prairie provinces, and fairly quiet elsewhere across the country. But the watch warning map from last evening doesn't look very quiet. It shows a lot of active weather. Some heat advisories across Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, western Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, down into Oklahoma. A couple of severe weather watches in Illinois and up in North Dakota, and fairly quiet elsewhere across the country at this point. The QPF chart, precipitation over the next 5 days through Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, shows rainfall amounts around here mainly between about a half to 1 inch. Some places may get more, especially out in West Virginia, where they could get 2 to 3 plus.